See, I'm gonna talk to you about this decade of time. In this decade of time, you normally talking about depositing and withdrawing checks from different organizations. So that's pretty much what I'm doing in 1995 to 2026. Is I'm donating, withdrawing, and depositing from organizations and making a benefit from it, from either attendance or either being an authorized client of DMV, being an authorized client of Career Day, being able to explain more factors of careers, and understanding more about the difference between the careers and what they do to expand your acknowledgments. So it's just pretty much talking on 231 different Yukons and 20 different Denali's and three Cadillacs. And this is basically going towards car gurus, Mac Hawk, Covert, or Covert and Mac Hawk, and then Chuck Nash. So you're talking within those dealers, and it's pretty much a $295 exchange, getting each and every one of those out for those types of prizes and possessions that is handled in that type of technology. And, it's pretty much where you're using more of Hulu, YouTube, Spotify, Adobe. You're using majority of that software data. So why not use it in companies where you can use it in PMC2 squared, EcoLeaf, where you got YouTube Kids for PMC2 squared, and EcoLeaf for YouTube adults. Pretty much using more of a duplicate to using more of duplicates to promote more of the advertisement you're trying to display. So it's basically getting you out of pie ratings and putting you at a good position. So it's pretty much where you're using adapted cellular data and tablet data and desktop data to promote those details. So it's pretty much where you're using one whole all point or one whole prosperity banking, and using that for withdrawals, and being able to deposit more for the checks and bills and benefits that you need to pay for. And it's pretty much getting a banking service put out for you, other than frauds. Just because there's a lot of money out there. You want to be able to get a big bunch, so that you have a big family, more than 3 people, more than 2 people, more than 345 people. So you just want to be able to eat more, and be able to enjoy how much your experience points can lead you. And that's up to about 2,500 in experience points. So imagine what $25 in experience points would do to you, and being able to support more for your benefit law. So that's pretty much using 231 counties to promote that positive benefit in the local area of Texas that goes more towards Dallas representatives and voters. So that's pretty much where you're using that whole 2831, 1928 to 2031 effect, as you get more towards the Ronald Reagan area, or even to the New Deal era, or even to the Harlem Renaissance or the Italian Renaissance. Either way it go, you still focusing on color. So it's still going the way that 1985 went when it was going. So all the light skinned Italians go on the Mediterranean Sea, and being able to use more of that, and all the darker skin is pretty much on the lower Caribbeans of the world. And being able to use more of Golden Corral, Jack in the Box, Using more of the primary service to promote the standard of living is pretty much what we want to do in 2009 to 2023. And it's pretty much as I use more of my aquatic representations to promote more of that 29 955 distant diameter. It's pretty much working with 347 pools. So that's just pretty much working with 23 miles, 49 miles, and 15 miles of work, as you just basically being able to synchronize and able to witness and get different objectives out on your work environment. So that's just 14 people out of 495 people that works in my conditions, and being able to know more about my traditions as you move on through the midpoint zones of the pool counties. So it's pretty much working with Little Stacy, Ramsey, Little Enfield, Montopolis. You pretty much working with those main points, and that's pretty much where you're using 95 weeks, 25 weeks, and 66 weeks of deposits going, and it's pretty much after you get 385,000 going towards a car, you pretty much already on your way, being able to support yourself with the luxury in the vehicle that normally comes with that promotion, rather than getting a Ferrari at 16 or a Ferrari at 23. It's pretty much biblical that you get an SUV at this age, at this type of origin. It's pretty much working on that type of vehicle for this type of origin. You got to be able to be an energetic, endured consumer after 495 months of work. So that's pretty much where you're working with 49,935 hours of Challenger statistics, and that's pretty much where you're using 671 and 41 different percents of proportions at the time of purple, green, and orange statistics. And we'll talk about more of the description of those statistics in a jiffy after we get more accommodated with ratios of the 335 portions that we have. So it's pretty much as you getting used to the people that you have, and the height and the weight difference. That's pretty much what you're wearing out in a macroeconomic decision, where you got 945 different gallons, and you want to spend 245 gallons, and you have 399 gallons left, and you basically using your A plus B plus C. So that's basically using one whole member versus 645 members. So somebody's got to be able to support the difference of that acknowledgement. So that's pretty much working with $29,945 of an Altima, and being able to support more for Eco Herb, and and the things that go on with that situation. And that's pretty much a situation where it's just working with a whole bunch of contributions that I was acknowledged by, and I worked on, and powered a performance by. So it carried on experiences later on throughout the weeks. So it's pretty much working with 631 weeks of skill level. So that's pretty much where you're using that whole detail, rather than it being for some type of real estate property. You're using more towards having something to do every day for the corporate world, instead of being in the warehouse all day, or working on real estate properties. So that's where my lifespan changes from a Mexican or towards a black person, or towards any other race other than that don't have too much of a professional field that they're in, or it's something that they're not taking too serious. So we want something that we can take serious, so we can get a good jump and a good leap ahead of the categories that are already there, and so we can already have something to be intrigued on, and be able to assign different qualities to the diversity. So it's pretty much using upgrades, and being able to use the fact that the car is new and it's upgraded, and it's not a 2005 but it's a 2018. We use those statistics in those in enterprise holdings, and that's pretty much what I use in my program of Eco Leaf, that promotes more of that 19 model collage, where you see different dimensions of different 345 different cars, and you still not know the car that you just parked, or the car that you was acknowledged of. So it's pretty much a good job by Enterprise by just keeping those cars for 948 months. That's pretty much all you have to do to get out the certain struggle that they're in now, or that they were in. It's pretty much comes and goes over and over again. So it's pretty much a yearly effect, rather than it being 20 seconds or 235 seconds that it happens. It happens every 6 months or every 3 months. There's more than 345-hour exchanges between the two. So it's pretty much using 3 days of off days to promote in the near future beginning, so you can be able to get more rest, just because it's more fuel invested, and it has more endured route trails in that type of constitution. So you're not just sitting down sewing or in the factory making chocolate. You pretty much just moving around, and being able to move cars around and park them, and that's pretty much where you getting the whole 39.95 deal coming from at. So it's pretty much working with 3 years of that experience, and then being able to work with the upkeep, and dealing with your other teammates with those upkeeps. They are teammates, but usually I call them associates on the professional days. So that's pretty much where you're using much of your acknowledgement to promote more of that. So pretty much at my series of lifetime, we use like 945 hours every 2 weeks to promote more of what we were going through and how we were exchanging through our prophecies. And it's pretty much working with ADP and Outlook, and being able to work with that. And Spotify is pretty much what we did to promote more for hotspots, 499 hotspots, and understanding more of data usage at the time. So that's pretty much where we're using more to sustain to our economy as we bulk up and get better for better readiness. And that's pretty much not you worrying about the instructions of the detail and not the item of the detail. We're not looking at seeing if the item is neat. We already know how neat technology can be these days. It has a bunch of noise to it. It has sound to it. It has light to it. It has effects to it. It's pretty advanced after 1988 of 2015. So that's pretty much where you're using that that whole detail coming from after using UConn's unique statistics as far as knowing the whole proper point of the body style and the paint job and the rim set and how you open the door. So that's just pretty much working with a whole compound of automotive support. Whether it's OnStar or any other type of brand company that has that type of automotive history. So it's pretty much using all that and using it in 945 hours, and being able to support more of the detail that you imagine out of 1380 cars of either the Maxima, the Challenger, the Grand Cherokee. He's matching them up and you see different images of it like that. That's at least about 29,945 images every car that you see, every day, at least about every day. You see it 29,945 times a day, then, that's just a paper a day. You go through 245 papers a year, so, that's basically where you're getting your car wash and getting your detail on enterprise holding statistics and, being able to know more about, what goes on EcoHerb and, ErgoHerb 247 as you, get more towards the primary care of the passenger, the direct passenger, which is the associate of its source, and being able to look more into breads or any managers of its time. So that's just starting with 245 days of start time when we're talking about this stuff. So that's talking about 285 hours over 275 years. So it's pretty much me going up against a $100 bill, and that's pretty much adding the bill worth of a $10 bill going up against a $100 bill on separation of power, something that should have been avoided. But you got many different bureaucracies in there, and they got different feelings about knowing different people and knowing where they come from and how they get along with their systems. So that's pretty much where we're waiting on the House to promote more of that sustainability. So that's working with a whole lot of 495 months and being able to support more for the home property and understanding more of the compounds that are exclusive to the home property after 4895 of 35. So that's pretty much working with yellow, red, and green formats of 49,945, which started when I was 1850 to 2450, and being able to start a $10,000 beginning for myself as I get more towards home and understanding more of the declaration of home. So that's pretty much where we're using 95 months to start it off with, and that's pretty much where you can get at least 95 months paid off, whether it's a house or a car. You get you can get your you can get $95,000 paid, 95 months paid off with 95,000 easily. So it's pretty much where you're using Grand Theft Auto 4 and using Midnight Club LA to promote more of that detail. And that's pretty much a big detail. You're using up to about 3,995 different experience points to promote those types of specified details. So that's pretty much where you're using luxury deluxe measuring charts and all of that good stuff. So that's pretty much what you're looking for at the end of the day. You want a $95 advancement. So it's pretty much where you're getting that. And that's pretty much where we make that majority of the time on PMC2 squareds, collaborative services. So that's pretty much where you're using many different sorts of PMC2 squared to make a better company and be able to be more affiliated with collaborations with Adobe, ADP, Intel, majority of those types of initiatives at the hour. So that's basically working on a whole nother 323 9800s PMC2 squareds, 98,000 coming from 6885 66 shrimp. So that's pretty much where you're looking at 607 hours of frying. And being able to have that code is pretty much what we want to be able to spend for $522. Or even if you can build it up, that'll be good too. You get 4 to 14 different cells on it. That'll be good too. So that's pretty much where you're working on the sales of Catfish Industries. You're working on the multi-mode, and that's pretty much where my parts of Comcast Grid plays. After you get 435 profiles of those types of ratios and those types of companies and what they do and how they work, and it's pretty much more info towards that good stuff. So it's pretty much where you're working with ratios and companies of that area. So that's pretty much working with in-depth depositions within 395 different files going towards PMC. And then, going towards Comcast Grid, you got 335 files. So, that's pretty much working with up to about 3,000 every video. You're working with 235 hundreds of statistic at that time. So, that's a lower pound of money that you can use. That's a reciprocated amount. You can throw that down almost like nothing. So, it's pretty much where you're getting the guarantee behind that good stuff. So, that's pretty much using 1929 to 2025 editions to promote more for statistics and collaborations at that time. So, that's pretty much using 1905 to 10th grade. What's the difference between my 3rd grade picture and my 10th grade picture at the time? That's the only difference between Kendrick, Charlie Ray, Myron, Orlando. You look at those people and you see that it looks like I ain't had no difference in 19 years. So it's pretty much where that represents, and it's pretty much a down slope somewhere on their level. So it's pretty much using a calibrated system to promote more of the detail that they may possibly represent. Even if they don't like it, or if they do like it, it's still something that symbolizes something that they're affiliated with, whether it's emotion or part of the human activity. So that's pretty much what we're going for, as well as that go. And then at Restaurant Depot, we just keep on using codes. That's part of the co-management that goes on there. That's part of the 495 deal that goes on there. So you see that on Comcast. That's pretty much where you get more of the extracurricular objectives going on as you look more at Comcast Grid and its file of profiles. What it does to promote more of its statistical meaning. So it's basically looking at 4:35 in the morning and then looking at 3:35 in the evening. So, it's pretty much how 244 hours go after, you're making more successful statements towards having something for seventh grade to 10th grade to sophomore year in college. So, it's pretty much using $235 for 4 months. So, it's pretty much as you using that and using it towards your companies, you didn't pay six companies $235. That's pretty much where how you're using your statistics for, how you're using money for your bill statements or for your reference notes at Hannah Chevrolet or at your house at Keller Williams or KB Homes. And that's pretty much where you're using those types of deals on the side of ABL, PFG, McLean. You're looking at the trucking lines so far like that. So that's pretty much where you're using the definition of that stuff, 485 hours in distance in the distance. So that's pretty much where you're using coordinates to get from zone to zone. So it's using your average day Q&A to promote more for your if then statements. So that's pretty much working on Haraba code. 348 distances, and being able to use the dimes to promote more for the weight of those details is pretty much how you break the 500 at that time of 531 500s. So we'll get to that in depth when we get to it. So you got about 30 months until we talk about more into-depth things about nationalism and globalism and federalism. So that's pretty much the things that we talk about on our daily that we don't normally get to talk about more often. People are more talking about hair or the style that they like to walk, or the shoe that they like to wear. And it's pretty much not a covered specification that gets covered majority of the time when you're on your job. So that's pretty much what we want to make sure we have in the next 20 months is we have some type of coverage for dimensions at the time, something that you can put your coverage in. So it's pretty much it's not just you riding in your car just alone by yourself. So that's basically where we're using the difference between 1979 and 1987, and using the difference between those.